Because truthfully, I had a young baby. I had a career that was absolutely, I loved it. I loved the people that I was working with, but it was all hours, right? It was, I think I wasn't even skirting or flirting with Burnout. I was kind of, me and Burnout were best buddies and we were sat next to each other.
Jeez.
And that kind of proximity to burnout is actually what gave us the idea for where we are now.
Well, welcome, Dan. Thank you so much for joining the Darren Well podcast. I'm so glad to have you here today. I'm excited to hear more about your Darren Well story. So Dan is one of the founders of Flow Greens, which is a wellness brand combining scent and technology. And their first product is Scent Expresso. So I'm sure Dan's going to share just a little bit about that. But Scent Expresso combines aromatherapy into every facet of our daily routines. And so I'm excited to hear more about that. But before we get into our discussion today, Dan, can you please share more about your bio and about Flow Greens as well, and why you started this venture?
Awesome. Well, Rita, thank you very much for having me on today. It's a pleasure to be here with you. So my bio, as you mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders of Scent Expresso. My bio is a little bit of a strange one. So I've always worked in kind of smaller startup companies. One of the things that I'm ultimately most proud of was the role that I played in a company called Rita, which is it's the world's first wireless smart thermometer. So I joined that business when they'd completed crowdfunding. They hadn't started their product yet, but they had a great idea. They had the backing to do it. And then I was part of that journey from zero to over 100 million and part of that. I am passionate about all things startup, all things that sit on the intersection of tech, of wellness, of how we can use technology to make people's lives better on a day-to-day basis. I am in my other time, I am father to one beautiful young girl called Cleo, terrible golfer, general wellness advocate, and voracious reader whenever I do get the time to do so. Yeah, I'm really excited to be able to sit here today and talk to you in more detail about our journey and my journey and how we've kind of come through this to get to where we are today and where we ultimately hope to go to in the future.
Yes, awesome. Well, awesome. I'm excited to hear about our conversation today. So as we think about your Darren Well story, share a little bit about the messy middle of starting a business, being in business, balancing business and family. Share a little bit about the messy middle.
Great question, and I think the messy middle is something that we kind of, as a society, we don't tend to look at enough, right? We kind of see the beginning, David and Goliath story, and then we see the end, but it's the middle where all the action happens and all the fun is, right? So I think my messy middle, cracking me, I think I've been in the messy middle for about 15 years now. And also I'd say the messy middle changes, right, as we go through the different chapters of our lives. So my original messy middle was when I set up a recruitment company because I looked at what was happening in the world of recruitment and wanted to do something different and do something better. That started as a, initial startup company when I was young and full of vim and vigor. Not that I'm too old now, but when shall we say, I didn't have too many life pressures outside of wanting to go and do something for my career. I then had the pleasure again, I'll refer back to them again, but the messy middle then changed because the messy middle then became a case of how do we help build a company? How do we identify the staff? How do we make sure the right people come on board? How do we keep the right people on board in that organization? Then the messy middle went even crazier because it then became how do I support this company through other aspects of things? Then, yet again, the messy middle changed because then it was part of acquisition and due diligence. And then the messy middle changed again because it was then how do we integrate into this kind of bigger parent company that's bought us, where there's perhaps different values, there are different stresses, there are different things. And this is where that messy middle kind of came to this part where we are now, and it came to the genus of what we're aiming to do now, because truthfully, I had a young baby, I had a career that was absolutely, I loved it, I loved the people that I was working with, but it was all hours, right? It was, I think, I wasn't even skirting or flirting with Burnout. I was kind of, me and Burnout were best buddies and we were sat next to each other.
Jeez.
And that kind of proximity to burnout is actually what gave us the idea for where we are now. Because I think it's quite poetic, that burnout is 100% a negative thing. But actually, this burnout that we were facing, it gave us the reason to actually start what we've done now, right? Because
The focus on wellness.
this focus on wellness and this idea of we love tech, but I'd never really had that opportunity to see how important wellness was. Because, when you're young and you're full of vim and vigor and energy, wellness doesn't even necessarily kind of factor into what you're thinking. And, all of a sudden it's like, wow, I'm really hurting right now. Like, what can I do? This is exhausting. This is tiring. And how can I improve it? And so that kind of led into where we are now, because it was us aiming to solve our own problem, but we wanted to solve it for other people as well. We wanted to take that and make a real impact in the world. And we wanted to take something that we can be proud of, that we can share, that can be something that makes a real positive impact in people's lives for the future going forward.
Yeah.
And so we've kind of transitioned, and now we're in the middle of yet another messy middle, because we've finished our Kickstarter campaign. We know what our product is. We're actually going out there and making it, and I get to talk to people like yourself and discuss how and where we are. But I feel the messy middle is, sorry for overusing it, but I think it's changed. It's led to other things, and here we are right back in the thick of it again, but older, wiser, a few more grey hairs. Definitely a bigger tummy, but we're still right back in the thick of it again.
Yeah. And so talk about the burnout. What was that like? How long were you stuck in that burnout phase before you're like, hey, this isn't working, we need to do something different?
That's a great question. And how long I was stuck in it for was realistically probably about 2 years. Because I think the seeds, the roots of it actually began in the kind of the due diligence process of acquisition, where everything is focused on this one thing, which is, providing everything, being completely upfront, being completely open, but you also still have to keep the lights on with everything else as well, right? It's all of a sudden as if you've got double the workload, because you have to do everything you were doing before to continue to grow a business, but you also want to be completely forthright and open and share as much as you possibly can on everything that's requested. And this comes in the form of multiple requests from different sources, meetings across all different time zones. So I think the roots of it can be traced into there. But then when that part has happened and you kind of go through the acquisition, it's a success and it's brilliant. While you're in that acquisition process, you kind of have this mindset of, once this part's done, things are going to settle down a little bit. I'm going to be able to focus on the other things that I've tried hard to juggle here. And then the reality is, when you then come into the integration side of things, it actually, if anything, it accelerates, because quite rightly, you want to share as much as possible, and people have questions, and you want to forge this new unit together. And the way to do that is to communicate. But when you're in different time zones, when you have multiple different presses that are coming on from you, it can really become absolutely exhausting, And I think a key part of that is when we look into modern life. Like, because I am talking to your awesome self today, I have put my phone on Do Not Disturb. But if it hadn't been on Do Not Disturb, it would be constantly pinging throughout the day. And that's, we're all getting increasingly more and more connected as time goes on, right? We have Slack, we have Teams, we have text message, we have email, we have tweets, Instagram. There's so many different methods and means for how people can communicate with us, which communication is key. It's absolutely awesome. But the question is, how do we take a bit of time for us where we don't have so many things pressing in on us, so many meetings, so many pings and dings? And I think that's where we came. So my amazing co-founder, Wen, her go-to relaxation method, which is rooted in kind of escaping all of that stuff, was she'd have a really hot bath, she'd put some essential oils in there, and she'd just take the time, she'd leave her phone outside, and she'd take that time and just be encapsulated in steam, in scent, and just time for her. And she recommended this to me and my colleague Chris, and it's something that we thought, hey, yeah, this is awesome. We could be on board with this. We've tried it. But where the the kind of the aha moment came from, where this all came to a head was, when she was trapped in a city away from home. She was on a business trip. She was ready. She knew, she kind of planned. She had her essential oils with her. She was ready. She knew she'd get that time to decompress. Unfortunately, though, the kind of key blocker, the hotel room she was in didn't have a bathtub. So her protection mechanism, her rest and recharge mechanism, she had some of the ingredients, but not all of them. And that's actually what led to this idea, right? It's this idea of how can we have that same level of respite, but how can we do it for anyone, anywhere, instantly, even if they don't have a bath, if they have a shower, which most people do. How can we take that private time, make it immediately accessible, and give people the benefits of aromatherapy, which has been around for thousands of years, right? It's not a flash in the pan thing that started a couple of months ago. It's part art, part science, part mystical, part empirical, but it's been around for this huge period of time, and the benefits of it are huge. But
Can you share more about the benefits of aromatherapy, Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we look, a key thing we focused on at the moment is kind of stress reduction, right? Because that's originally what lent us into this. And when we talk about stress, we talk about cortisol. Now, cortisol is there's proven links with cortisol reduction and, for instance, lavender essential oil. So after exposure for lavender, cortisol reduces. Ultimately, though, aromatherapy, as I mentioned, is part art, part science. The first thing this morning for me was a eucalyptus-based shower to really decongest me a little bit, to kind of free up my airways and make me a little bit more clear. But aromatherapy can trigger emotion as well as physical effects, right? We can have a relaxing lavender or chamomile. We can have something that's truly invigorating, like a citrus, a tangerine scent. We can have something that's a decongestant, which is eucalyptus. But there's also other links in terms of kind of antibacterial properties of things. There's actually so much that is harnessed in aromatherapy that you can do. It doesn't just have to be something that makes you sleep. It can kind of improve your mental acuity. It can do all manner of things. It's a really powerful tool, but it's been kind of segmented off, and people kind of assume it has to be this kind of thing of, I'm going to go for an aromatherapist. It's going to take loads and loads of time. It doesn't have to. We can deliver this instantly, and we can also make recommendations to you based on. I think the other kind of key part that we mentioned with aromatherapy is, and this is perhaps not as clear in that sense, when we talk about smell, when we talk about our olfactory senses, think about what it triggers in you and the feelings that it can trigger in you. Like
memory.
Absolutely, memory, be that good or bad. Like it can absolutely link and kind of transport you away and take you to where that memory is linked. And if there's a fantastic memory that's, maybe it's grandma's cooking at home, maybe it's the first time you went on a summer camp with your friends and you first tasted freedom. Whatever it may be, we can actually link into that positive association back and kind of bring it into our present and harness it as well.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's super cool that you can make it where it's transferable. So not just a stationary spot but you can take it even on when traveling. And I think that's really beautiful because we're always stressed. We live in a world that, as you say, we're always connected to our devices, and there's times that we just need to unplug. And just the benefits of aromatherapy and infusing it into your everyday life is super cool. When you think about business from like a wellness perspective, what was the hardest part of walking through that? So you talk about the acquisition, building a new product, sharing about your mission, getting the Kickstarter, all those different pieces, and juggling family. Like what was the hardest if you think about? It seems like all of them were hard moments. But what was the hardest if you had to like rank them, and why do you feel like it was hard for you?
That's an awesome question. I think the hardest part overall, I would say, is the key hard part is the engineering that goes behind this, right? We are building and designing something that has never ever been done before. So for us, that engineering aspect is a real challenge, has been a real challenge. We're getting there with it now, and we're happy with what we've our kind of solution for it. I think for myself, a key challenge that I have faced has been, where does the time, how do you manage something like this, which is, it has captivated my heart and soul. It is something that I'm proud of. I want to deliver this to the world with my co-founders. I want to, without sounding too creepy, I want to be able to touch people in showers all around the world. And
with love.
yeah. But this, combining with the fact that, hey, I want to be a present father, I want to have time to decompress myself, because ultimately I can't preach wellness if I am working insane hours and I am suffering mentally and physically myself, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Right there.
I think that making sure that my obsession and my co-founder's obsession to deliver this to people doesn't hurt our own wellness in the process, because we need to be healthy, fit and well. We need to be those people as well. Now, lucky for us, we have the device so we can test it. So that definitely helps us. But I think we do need to make sure that we keep an eye on this, because especially when it's something that we care about this much, it's so easy to become tunnel vision. And before you blink, 6 months have gone by, and yeah, you've made great progress, but some of these other plates that you're spinning in your life have perhaps started to wobble a little bit.
Wow. Wow. I think that's really interesting when you think about, like, you can't just copy and paste. Like, there's not something out there already on the market. You could just, hey, I've got a template. I'm just going to redo what they already have, and I'm just going to put my spin on it. But no, like, you're starting from scratch, and which sounds really hard when I think of daring well. Like, that sounds really hard. Sounds really courageous. How did you deal with people that said, hey, that's not going to work? How'd you deal with all the naysayers when you're thinking about the engineering that you had to come up with, and how to, again, have that mindset that this is what's important, not only for me, but also from a wellness perspective, but also how it's going to benefit so many others. So how did you develop that piece of mindset to just push through no matter what, because you believed so much in it?
I think the key thing is to have people around you that believe in the mission as well, that believe in what we're doing. And I could not be more lucky than my co-founders, Wen and Chris, that they believe in what we're doing too, and also they're hyper smart. So they can think of solutions that other people might well miss. But I think ultimately, us being together, us being a cohesive unit who believe in this thing, it doesn't matter any naysayers, because we have us as a unit, and we also have the people that when we talk about our idea, when we talk about our product, they go, yeah, that sounds amazing, I want it. And we've been really fortunate that a lot of people we have spoken to have gone, yeah, of course I want that. Why have I not got that already?
Yeah.
So I think the combination of those two things, being fortunate enough to have people who are not part of our co-founder circle say, yeah, this is awesome, I want it, but also having the backing and love and care from those two co-founders, or us, because I'd like to think I give that back to them as well. But we support each other, we galvanize each other. If one of us is having a particularly tough time, we'll pick each other up and dust ourselves off, and we're on this journey together, but we're guided by the fact that we believe in this product and we want to build it.
That's powerful. That's powerful. So finding growth through the challenge for you was having people in your inner circle, especially on your team, but in your inner circle in your personal life, that support you, that support the mission, that
Absolutely.
support the product.
Absolutely. Support the product, support you as a person.
Yeah.
And it goes further than my co-founders. It goes to my long-suffering wife, my friends, my family, the people that see, like, you love this, you are determined to do this, and we believe you're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So as we start to wrap up, let's think about, I'm so curious about the engineering. I feel like that might take us in such a deep turn, but I guess let me ask you a quick question about engineering. So as you think about, like, creating the product, like, what was that like? Was it just a pen and a paper, or was it just us having a conversation, you and your team? Like, what was the engineering process? Like I said, I feel like I know that's a long, in-depth question, but I guess if you had to summarize it or condense it, how would you
I mean,
describe the
all of the
engineering?
above. All of the above. We've got some really early rudimentary sketches. I think initially it was, when's our aha moment? Realizing, hey, I need this. Can it be done? And then it
Mm,
became a case of, okay, I think it can be done. Has anyone else done it? Does it already exist? And then
mm.
when it was a case of identifying, hey, no, this is something new, then it became a case of, well, how do we make this iconic? What can we do that makes this better than anything else on the market? And I think, if I may, at that point,
Yes, please share it.
yes. So here's a Scent Espresso. Key things to remember with this, okay? So this does go in your shower. Now, diffusers have existed for thousands of years in one guise or another. You can talk about your original reed diffusers, which is reeds in some essential oil, which make the space you are in smell nice over time. You then get nebulizing and well, actually, we had a whole debacle with heat diffusion, which is kind of essential oils being burnt. You want to stay away from that because that causes some nasty side effects. But when we looked at nebulizing, and at the moment, all diffusion is targeted more at making a space smell good. Whereas this is more of a localized application of it. This is more designed for you to have the positive effects. So we've done an exhaustive study of pretty much every diffuser we could lay our hands on, and we've broken most of them. But we took it and we said, well, hey, we've got a unique application for this. This is a completely different way of looking at it. How can we fix some of the problems with existing ones? And so we'll have to hold it up a little bit higher because I need to adjust my camera. But this is the iconic design that we have come up with. In terms of problems that we wanted to fix, we've mentioned aromatherapy is perhaps borders more onto the art than science. So we wanted to take our approach, our scientific approach, and make it possible. And we looked at the big problems with them. Now, one of the big problems with the existing ones is they're really, really difficult to change the scent because you kind of put oil in, they're very imprecise. You take essential oil, you put it in a water tank, you just kind of drop it in like this. You've got no idea how strong it's going to be. It could knock your socks off. You could not smell anything. So we've taken a novel application to make this more measured and more scientific. The fantastic side of this that means is you can actually adjust it in use. So I have here some rosemary essential oil. We've patented this universal adapter. I'm going to pop it in there like that. That is how I load my essential oils. Okay, if I want to change it, I can just take it out there. It's this one. Oh, this is my eucalyptus from this morning. And then there we go. That is now in as well. So that's simply how quickly you change the scent. What we've also looked at with existing diffusers is they're terribly wasteful. And by that I mean, when we make any consumer electronic product, we take stuff from the planet, right? We take it to make electronics, we take it to make plastics, we take it to make all of these things. Now, every other existing diffuser on the market, if a part of it breaks, that means you need to replace the whole thing. Now, that really didn't sit well with us at all. So what we've done is made it completely modular. So, for instance, this is the diffuser mesh here. This you can take out and put in the dishwasher. And this is not, this is how it works. It's literally clip in like that. That comes out and goes in your dishwasher. What we can also do, I'll take my cap off here. This is the heart of it. This is our mixing chamber, which mixes it in real time, which is how you can decide how much strength you get with it. This takes out and you can put this in the dishwasher as well. So all of this is actually replaceable. Now, I live in London. London is terrible for lime scale on water. Because of that, that means if over time this builds up a line scale build-up that it can't work anymore, even with me regularly cleaning it, I can just replace one component. I don't throw everything away. I can replace one component. And the other thing that we've integrated into it as well, which I think is entirely unique, well, it is entirely unique and new. So this is actually a breathing light here. When we talk about stress reduction and cortisol reduction, our body is our own best friend in this. If we can trust our body and activate our parasympathetic nervous system, which you do by breathing, then actually you reduce your own cortisol. You trust your own best friend, your body. So this actually becomes a guided breathing light in the shower to double the impact. So not only are you getting the benefit of 100% therapeutic grade wild farmed essential oil, you're also activating this guided breathing experience, which will make sure that your own body is supporting you through de-stressing as well.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. How is it easier to attach to a wall?
Yeah, 100%. So we have, it's not picking up very well in my camera, but you have, effectively, you've got a mount that you place on the wall. So you just clean the area, apply the mount, and then leave it for 30 minutes and it will stick. And then it's literally a case just popping it on like that, and then you're good to go. And then it's kind of removable as well. So you can charge it, you can take it to the dishwasher and clean it, you can do all that good stuff. But the idea is we want this to be portable. So that mount is super easy to install and you can take it with you.
That's cool. That's cool. And it's easy to take in one space and move to a different space. That's cool.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Well, thank you for sharing about the engineering. Yeah, that sounds super technical, super cool. Um, how long was that process of engineering, just developing the idea?
So, I mean, it depends on the part we're at. Truthfully, I mean, we're still in the engineering phase, right? We are
Okay.
still building and perfecting this product. Thus far, we've been about 18 months to where we are. The product will be shipping in March, but we have fun with this. This is what we love doing. So even when the product is shipped, we will continuously be looking on how we can improve, how we can do better, and what else we can make for people.
Yeah. So you
So
can
it's an
track it.
ongoing thing forever is our hope, right? We want to continue engineering, we want to continue innovating. It's what we love, and it's what we want to.
So cool. That's so cool. And I'm curious about so many things about Kickstarter. Like, how hard was it to get on Kickstarter as an entrepreneur, starting a new product, starting a new company, organization? Was that super hard applying to that, or?
And so, I mean, Kickstarter, there's not a huge barrier to entry. I think, if you care about what you're doing and you're making something legitimate, then you can absolutely go on Kickstarter. I think the challenging part of Kickstarter is to have visibility. I mean, from our perspective, we were really, really happy. We were fully funded in about 22 minutes. So
Oh,
for us, it was incredible. I know that other people or other kind of project creators face different problems. I think the key thing for us, though, is, and even now in our conversation, we've innovated so much, and there's so many things that we have done that are actually completely not available and have not been done before. It's trying to communicate that to people, trying to, especially in this attention, this economy, or where we have such a limited attention span now. Most of our attention, I'm guilty of it too, is like the length of a reel or something like that. And trying to get as much meaningful information about the innovation that we've made into as a compact and understandable and clear package, it's a real challenge, right? Because a lot of the time we kind of sit there and we're like, but this is amazing, and we've done this and nobody's done this, and how can we kind of make that excitement in a clear and easily accessible format that people will take the time to pay attention to and will understand. I think it's a
yeah,
big challenge for Kickstarter.
gotcha. Thank you for sharing that. Any words of wisdom that you would like to share with the listeners?
Absolutely. So full disclosure, these are my own words of wisdom, but I'm going to stick with them, which is do what you think is purposeful and do it with people that you love and respect and care about. And the other word of wisdom is from a friend of mine that I still think is really important in every aspect of life, which is say what you mean even if your voice shakes. Don't be shy to put yourself out there in any way and represent who you are, and do it with good nature, with grace, and with as much articulacy as you can muster. But don't be shy to be yourself, and don't be shy to talk about the challenges that you face and how you can overcome them, because often one of your friends or someone that you know, or maybe it's someone that you don't, they have your solution. They have the thing that will support you and guide you through that particular part. So be a sponge and say what you mean, even if your voice shakes.
I love it. I love it, Dan. Thank you so much. I think that's so true in any part of wellness, but definitely in business, definitely in leadership. That's awesome. Super cool. So, as we wrap up, what are some ways that people can connect with you if they want to, one, get the product? You said it won't be released till March. So how do they get on the wait list? How do they connect with you? How do they learn more about the product? I'll definitely put the links to the video, which takes what Dan said to the nth degree, which is so cool. Kind of like immerse yourself in aromatherapy through a screen, which is just amazing. But yeah, how can people connect with you and share more about, like I said, any other things that we maybe have left off about the product?
Absolutely. So key thing is the product will be shipping in March, but you can secure this today, guys. We still have pledges open on Kickstarter. You will be first in line if you make your pledge on Kickstarter before the product goes in general sale. We will send it to our Kickstarter backers. So please check us out on Kickstarter. And if the product speaks to you, you can order one on there and be one of the first people in the world to receive it. On top of that, we are really active on social media, so Instagram, Facebook, we're even on TikTok. If you want to see me making some funny comments on there, we are at Scent Expresso across all platforms. So please give us a like, give us a follow, drop us a comment, and failing that, pop onto our website and register and send me an email. We really want to hear from anyone and everyone about our product and what they think and what they'd like to see.
Awesome. Well, I'm super excited about the product and what you're doing to make this world a better place, a happier place, a more calmer place, less stressed out.
Thank you, Rita.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Dan. I greatly appreciate you for joining us on the Darren Well podcast, for sharing your heart, for sharing some of the messy middle about like balancing business and life and balancing starting a new venture. I think just and trusting yourself. I think that's the thing that I'm taking away from today is learning to just trust yourself no matter what the product, no matter what you're passionate about. You have to be passionate and get the right people on the bus with you. And so I love your conversation today. So yeah, thank you.
Awesome. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for stopping by the Darren Well podcast. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe wherever you're hearing this episode. Wishing you a beautiful day, my dear. All right, keep living, keep loving, and keep daring well. Take care, guys. God bless.